It's Cherie. I'm here because I'm doing an awesome collab with Rachel from AllNaturalAspirations here on YouTube, and she is amazing and I love her videos, and she's always super thorough and she has really good standards and I dig her. She's an inspiration. Sorry if the lighting is kind of bad today. It's really stormy outside, and you know, hairs do things when it's stormy and the lighting's not that great today. But anyway, I thought I'd do a do-it-yourself video featuring how to press your own eyeshadows, which is really convenient if you are a fan of pressed shadows but you're wanting more natural stuff, which usually comes in a pigment form. So I've got a little tutorial about how to do that really easily. And then I also threw in a do-it-yourself for a mama chia drink, which are super popular now with the juice with chia seeds in it. They're so easy to make at home. It's just silly to pay to have them to get them at the store. You can just so easily make them at home. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'll link Rachel down below, and go check out her video. She's got another do-it-yourself that's gonna be pretty exciting, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. See you later. Hi lovies. Let's try and do a tutorial. I've never filmed in this direction before, so hopefully you guys can see what's going on. I'm going to show you guys how I press my shadows, and I based this tutorial off of one from Oksana, and I will link her video down below. It's kind of the same thing, but I do it a little bit different. And here is an example of a palette that I pressed. I will link also down below the website where I got all of my materials from. This is the dupe from Silk Naturals for the Naked 2 palette, and I just think it turned out really well. I have all of the loose shadows still, but this is now pressed and neatly in order. So it's like I have my Naked 2 back, but it's cruelty-free and naturally versioned. Whee! Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to do that. First you're going to need, this is not mandatory, but you're going to need something to press into your tins with. And I'm using 26mm ones, like this. Boop. And this just really helps a lot. It really makes your life a lot easier. You can try and find something around your house that'll fit into these little tins if you like, but the whole pressing set is less than $4, so I just think it's worth it to buy one. Mine's a little crooked because I pressed too hard and broke it, and then I had to re-super glue it. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to be pressing a Silk Naturals. No. This is a Tater Rounds shadow, and it's just a trio of another dupe that I'm doing in a NYX palette for. So here's the other two, and then here's the original palette that I'm trying to dupe. Boop. Oh. So this is a NYX palette. You know, if you guys aren't aware, they've been bought out by L'Oreal, so they're no longer cruelty-free. So I really appreciate companies that make products that are dupeable for the ones that are not so good anymore. Alright, so you're going to need fractionated coconut oil, and you're also going to need the highest amount of alcohol that you can find. So I've got 91%, and then I've got my fractionated coconut oil, and then I put mine in little droppers just because it's easier to kind of beep beep get it out. So I've got my fractionated coconut oil here, and then I've got my alcohol in this little one. And it's super easy. It can be intimidating at first. I use this little spatula. I have a lot of these, and I use them for a lot of things. But this one, I got a pack of them at Sally's Beauty Supply. They're just easier to kind of, you know, get your pigments out. So I'm just gonna put however much you want in there. We don't have to get too crazy. Boop, boop, boo, doo, 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 doo. So now we have our little pigment in our pan. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and scrape out whatever's on the top of this. This is a Tater Rounds color that I think is called Spring Day. I can't remember. Oh, and word to the wise. I did not follow Oksana's example, and I did not protect my table with a tablecloth when I pressed all of the previous shadows. So it stained my table in some areas. So this time I'm protecting myself. You're also going to need something kind of small and pointy to stir with. I prefer toothpick. Well, that's really all I have. I had a stirrer from like a drink at a bar, but my dog chewed it up, so I don't have that anymore. So now I have this. We're gonna use this. You just need to be able to get in there really good and really mix it up. So I don't really have like a mathematical scientific way of doing it. I just always try and do more coconut oil than alcohol. So I'll do 10 drops of coconut oil. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll do 5 of alcohol. The coconut oil just really makes it buttery and blendable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it just kind of makes your life easier when you're applying it with a brush. So then I just take my little pointy and I just stir it all up in there really good. And if you start to stir and you think it's not quite mixing well enough, like it's too dry or it's too wet, you can add more pigment or you can add more coconut oil. Just always try and do like a little bit more coconut oil, a little bit more alcohol. So if you think it's too dry, maybe add like, you know, 4 coconut oil drops and like 2 alcohol and go from there. You just don't want it to be too wet and you don't want it to be too dry. Just like a nice creamy consistency, so it's blending. And then I just try and like tap it out, make it kind of flat. You don't have to do that. I think it makes the pressation easier. Okay, so now you're gonna need a dry paper towel in addition to this one. This is like my worst nightmare because I hate touching paper towels. So it took me a long time to press all those shadows because they're gross. And you're gonna place your paper towel over your pan and then take your little presser. And I like to make sure it's fit in there right, because if you sling it sideways in any direction, pigment will pop out of the side. So I just go really slow on that first little press. And then you just slowly press it in a little harder. And since I didn't press very much pigment, there's not a whole lot of moisture coming out. But if you're doing like a fuller pot, you'll start to see the alcohol and liquid like coming out of the sides, which is good. And you want to get it as dry as possible. So there it is. Boop, boop. And then you just slowly lift it up. And you slide to the next one. And you just want to keep pressing until you don't have any more moisture. I like to press really hard, because you really do want to get as much moisture out. Plus, the harder you press, the neater and more uniform your shadow will be. Boop, boop. I don't think I put enough pigment in there. I have 15mm pans, but I don't like them. They're just really small and they're really hard to work with, and I don't like them. So I really try and use these big ones if I can. And so here's an ugly version of a press. I'm going to redo this so you guys can see. So let's open up our pigment and put a little bit more in there, because that'll make it more like these. Alright, so we got to pop this sifter off. See how it can be kind of a messy business? Your pigments just unintentionally will get everywhere. Alright, so I'm going to take my little scoop. And what's also cool about pressing is it kind of takes on a different color. I don't know if you can see that, but this is more of like a soft gray, and then when it presses, it's more of a blue. So I found that a couple of pigments that I thought were one color are actually a different color. Alright, so we're just going to put some more pigment in there. It's harder to press the little stuff in these bigger pans. I thought I could get away with it, but it told me that I couldn't. Alright, so we're going to do some more coconut oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we'll do 4 of the alcohol. Alright, and then we'll just take a little spoon, and your numbers don't have to be like exact. Just make sure you get all the previous pigment that you did, are you able to see, up off that bottom. And I think I'm going to have to add more liquid, and that's fine. And if you're more comfortable with like soaking it down, then, you know, by all means soak it down. It's just, I feel like it's harder to press that way. That's coconut oil. Alcohol. I just feel like it's harder to press if there's more liquid. So I try and keep it as dry as I can get away with, but still get it mixed up in there. Do 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 do. I like to press or stir it straight into the pan, because I feel like you lose a lot of pigment if you mix it in another receptacle and then try and pour it in. I think you lose a good bit of pigment that way. It's stuck to the container that you mixed it in. It's also really hard to get out if you don't have like a microscopic spatula. And TKB Trading, which is where I got all of these things, does sell a microscopic spatula, but you know, that's just one more thing you gotta do. So, alright, so let's try this with a little more pigment. So we're just gonna place it, and then just very gently press it in. There it goes. There's, you see the liquid coming out of the side? And that's what you want to see, is you want to see that liquid coming out. That means that the pigment is pressing down and it's releasing all of the stuff that could possibly rust your tins. Oh yes, now we're better. Now it's looking better. So that's one, and you can see it's still kind of shiny. That means there's still some liquid in there. We want to get rid of that. Boop. Now this is not a matte shadow. Matte is a bit different. It's the same process, but I don't use any coconut oil. I've tried to press matte shadows with coconut oil, and it just doesn't work. They turn into like this buttery mess, and it just they goo out of the sides. But if you do it with just straight alcohol, it does it perfectly. I'll show you a matte one in just a second. You just want to press. And as you go, you can see that the circles are getting less and less wet. They're getting more and more dry. You're getting less color pickup, and that's good. That means that your pressing is almost complete. All right, there we go. All right, so look at this. Now it's dry, and now you have a nice, pretty pressed pigment, and it doesn't really take very long. And this is just something that I do because I'm anal, but I like to take the color that I just pressed and I write the name on the back in a Sharpie marker so that I know what this is. So this one is Silk Naturals, like, ignore my handwriting. It's SN with Silk Naturals and then Homecoming Queens. That way when I use this up, I know which pigment to look for to repress it, or I can repurchase it. So here's my NYX dupe. And you know, you could probably even pop these out of here and try and stick those in. So the colors aren't exact, but they're pretty close. And so that's my little NYX dupe. And then with the Naked 2, this one had 3 matte shadows, so 1, 2, and 3. And then you can't see it. Let me see if I can pop them out. Nope. Ugh. Nope. Alright, well anyway, I wrote all the names on the back of each shadow, and I put it in the original order of the actual Naked 2, so that way I know what colors I'm trying to work with, because I loved my Naked 2 so much. So I sold my Naked 2, and I bought the Silk Naturals version and pressed it, and just bought a little palette for it, and it works out really well. So that's pretty much how I do it. Here's the 26mm. That's the size that you need for this. And, you know, I was mixing them in here, but I just found it was easier to do it straight in the pan. And here's the little tiny presser that goes for the 15mm pans. I'll show you those. I don't like them. I pressed a couple of shadows in there. I think they might be perfect for, like, sample size baggies, but it's really hard to get product in there, and it's really hard to press these tiny little beasts, and then there's hardly any space on the back to write what it is. So if it's a sample, you know, I'm gonna want to know what it is in case I love it. And so I don't know, I'm not in love with the 15mm, but anyway, so that's all you do. It's super easy, and that's how you press shadows. If you have any questions, just pop them down below, and I will link TKB Trading down in the down bar. They sell the whole kit where you can get the pans, the presser, and they also sell fractionated coconut oil, which is great, and then you can get, you know, alcohol at any store. But I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you later. Okay, so hopefully this is straight. Welcome to my countertop. I thought I'd show you guys just a bonus clip of a drink that I like to make a lot. I know those Mama Chia drinks are super popular, and they're super yummy, and they even put them in kombucha and stuff like that. But they're super easy to make at home, so I really feel like it's not worth it to pay, you know, $4 for a drink that you can make super easy at home. So I'm going to show you how to make your own Mama Chia drink. So all you need is chia seeds, a cup of water, and an empty jar. Oh, and your favorite juice. So now this is like a 24-hour process, so you want to start this, you know, like before you make it, or before you want to drink it. So I just do 3 tablespoons of chia seeds into an empty jar. Pretty easy, right? And then I just pour in a cup of water. And then you just want to give it a light stir. It doesn't have to be super precise or super aggressive. Just a little stir, and you're gonna get some stuck all over your spoon. And then I just put a lid on it, and I put this in my fridge for 24 hours. And then this will turn into this. Sorry, this is a deeper jar. Hopefully you can see it. But it turns into like a really gelatinous jello almost consistency. And that's just 3 tablespoons of chia seeds. So it's kind of space gross. It looks like snot, but it's really good. So I just give that a stir because it will kind of settle at the bottom of the jar. So you just want to kind of give it a stir. And then I just take my favorite juice. This is organic Concord grape. Cherry juice is really yummy, whatever you want. And then you can measure it if you like, but I just pour in about a cup of liquid. Boop! And then I give it a stir. There you go. Now you have that yummy chia seed drink that they sell at Whole Foods for way less money. And if you want it thicker, you can just add 4 to 5 tablespoons to a cup of water, and you've got this yummy Mama Chia drink. Delicious! Alright guys, hope you enjoy it. Bye.